Well, hello and welcome back to math class. Today we're going to do some examples for the distributive property. If you were in class earlier, you probably made a little pamphlet with your teacher and it talked about all the properties. The distributive property was one of those properties, and so we're going to actually look at it today and figure out how to solve or simplify is our word for today. We're going to simplify. We're going to make it in simplest terms. If we noticed right here, here is my problem, we can actually simplify and get a simpler answer. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually distribute. And so what I like for you guys to do is you write the problem. So the problem is already written down for us. And then we're going to make an arrow. And we're going to say 4 is going to be distributed to the n. We've talked about the fact that when something is touching like this with parentheses, it means a times. So we always like to put a times here in my class. So we're going to take 4 and we're going to distribute it, multiplying it times n. And so we're going to kind of do it like this. Keep our addition sign. And then we're going to take and distribute the 4. We're going to make an arrow all the way over here to 5. And we're going to take the 4. Once again, we're still multiplying it because it's outside the parentheses. Now we're going to see if we can simplify it. Well, 4 times n is basically 4 times n. We don't know what n is, so we can't simplify that. 4 times 5, well, we can simplify that, is 20. So we took the distributive property and we made a simpler answer, which is 4n plus 20. Okay, let's try and look at this next one. Once again, we're going to use the distributive property, which means we're going to distribute the 12 and multiply it times 2y. So we have to write 12 times 2y. We have to keep our sign, which is a minus. Then we come back up here and we distribute the 12. Once again, we're still multiplying because that's multiply. And we're going to take 12 times 3. Let's see if we can simplify these things. Well, we can take 12 times 2. 12 times 2 is 24. We don't know what y is, so we're going to keep it just as y. Keep our sign. We can simplify this by taking 12 times 3, and that's 36. We can't simplify anymore because this is a y. This doesn't have a y. These are not what we would call like terms. All right, let's move on with C. Once again, we're going to distribute by making an arrow, and we're going to show what does that arrow mean. It means we're taking 1/2, and we're multiplying it times 6y. We're going to keep our sign. Then we're going to take 1/2, and we're going to make our arrow, and we're going to take 1/2 times 2z. 1/2 times 2z. All right, well, let's see. I can simplify this. I can take 1/2 times 6. Well, half of 6 is 3, and we have to keep the y. Keep our sign. What's half of 2? 1. Well, we've learned in class that we don't need to put a 1 in front of the z because we can see that that is 1z. So our answer, our simplified answer is 3y minus z. All right, one more. Let's distribute, make our arrows. This means 9 times 6. Keep our sign. This time we're going to take 9 times x. 9 times x. Oh, and we've got one more we get to distribute this time, and that's 9 times 2. So I have to write real small because I wrote too big. 9 times 2. Let's simplify this. 9 times 6, 54. Keep my sign. 9 times x, well, we can't simplify that. That would just be 9x. Keep my sign again. 9 times 2, 18. Now, if I look here at my problem, I have 54 plus 9x plus 18. These both are constant numbers. We could probably combine those. We can't combine the x because the x doesn't match. It's not what we would call like terms. So we're going to take our 54 and we're going to add it to 18. 54 plus 18. Let's see, what's 54 plus 18? Well, if we don't know, we'll have to come up here and put it on a scrap area so we can add it. 8 plus 4 is 12. 5 plus 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So I have the answer 72. Now we've added 54 and 18. So those are done. We've combined them. We can't add the x with it because this doesn't have an x. This is what we would call like terms. We'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. Now, those of you that are going on to the middle school and will be taking math, your math teachers in the middle school will like for you to always put the number that has the variable, which is the x, in the front. So we're going to go ahead and put the variable in the front. And our sign was plus. So our answer is 9x plus 72. You will notice here, 24y had the variable in the front. And 4n, we put the variable in the front. All right, I'm going to ask you to pause your video, and I'm going to see if you can solve these four for me. And then when you're done solving them, unpause your video and check your work. So go ahead and press pause. All right, for those of you that didn't press pause, or if you did, let's go ahead and look at these. Distribute 7 times A, 7 times A. Distribute 7 times 2, 7 times 2. You'll notice I kept my sign. 7 times A is 7A. 7 times 2 is 14. My variable is in the first term. All right, let's try this next one. Distribute 3 times D, 3 times D. Keep my sign. Distribute 3 times 11, 3 times 11. 3 times D is 3D. Keep my sign. 3 times 11 is 33. This is a variable. This is not. We can't put these two together. All right, let's look at number 3. Let's distribute 12 times A. 12 times A is 12 times A. Plus distribute 12 times 2/3 B. 12 times 2/3 B. 12 times A, oh, that's 12A. Now I have to take 12 times 2/3 B. Now for me, I'm probably either going to use my marker board or scrap piece of paper to make sure I do it correctly. So I'm going to take 12 times 2/3. Well, 12 would be 12 over 1. 2 times 4 is, I can't even think here, 24. That's why I shouldn't use pen. Divided by 3, 24 divided by 3 equals 8. Now, some of you I know went ahead and simplified here and got 8 right away. A plus for you. All right, so we just found out that 12 times 2/3 is 8B. We have two variables, so we're going to make sure, you notice we have 12A and then 8B. We can't put those two together because A and B are different. All right, let's look at our last one. If you did this, you did 7 times 2, kept your sign. You did 7 times 6, kept, oh, hope you saw it was a minus. And then you distributed 7 times 4D. All right, let's go ahead and simplify. 7 times 2 we know is 14. Keep my sign. 7 times 6 is 42. Keep my sign. 7 times 4, that would be 28D. I have 3 terms here. These are just plain integers or constants. So we're going to put these two together. We can't put it with the D because that's different. That's got a variable. 14 plus 42, most of you can solve that one in your head, which is 56 minus, these are gone now, 28D. And we're going to leave the variable here at the end instead of putting it in the front, just because we have a negative here. And we'll talk more about positive and negatives. All right, you are done taking notes. Please hold on to this piece of paper.